I saw a band in LA, and the band was having an off night, and some people started throwing tomatoes at the band. I thought, who would throw a tomato at a band? That's bad. But then I thought, who would bring a tomato to a show? That's even worse.
Welcome back, Ep.2 of Crazy About the SWA podcast. This is Crazy Ralf, your host, and I am joined by special guest, first guest on the show, Tomat0. Welcome to the show.
Hi, everyone. Happy to be here. Yeah, thanks for taking me on.
Yeah, no problem. Like I said, we're gonna kind of keep it free and loose with what the content on the show is gonna be. So I'm excited that my first guest is Tomat0 here. So
yeah, let's make something nice happen.
Let's make something nice happen. So I guess the first thing I wanted to talk about on the show, I'm going to ask this to all of my guests. The first thing I'm going to ask is what drew you to the SWA? What was what was the it thing about the SWA that you're just, I'm going to participate in this. This seems cool.
I mean, for me, it was a no-brainer. As soon as it was announced, I was just like, yes, this is my time now. Because ever since I was a kid, I had to hang out with my friend, who's actually also in the SWA as the Ace, and we'd spend whole afternoons just eating pizza and playing around in 2K universe mode. So actually, both the Ace and Diego Mercer are characters we made way back when.
That's pretty cool, actually. A little bit of history coming back.
Yeah, there's definitely history, and when we saw this thing, SWA being made, and it was just this is perfect. This is freaking perfect. Let's go. Let's do this.
Let's do it, they said. So, but that's interesting you bring that up, because I had mostly played around with 2K as the story mode of it. Me and my buddies would run little wrestling shows on Fire Pro Wrestling, because it's a little bit more bizarre and interesting. It's this weird 2D 2.5D one, but I feel like a lot of the SWA talent comes from that place of they enjoy wrestling, but they enjoy creating the story and the characters from just playing 2K back in the day.
I mean, it's a pretty good engine for creating those stories, I'll admit much.
I agree. And the Ace, obviously, and you guys, Diego Mercer and the Ace were some of the first created wrestlers. If you go back to the SWA roster, because it's kind of a really good timestamp of when everyone was this is when I'm coming in, right? The Ace and Diego Mercer were some of the first wrestlers created, if I remember.
Yeah, I think it was literally on the day, on March 17th, 2021. It was... it's been almost a year now. God.
Literally been almost a year. 2 whole seasons.
You just made me realize.
Yeah, no, it's time flies when you're having no fun at all, aren't you? It doesn't. But that's cool. Yeah, so I'm just kind of figuring where everyone's coming from, when they said, hey, I'm gonna go into the SBA. So like you said, 1 year, season 3, holy crap.
Right?
Holy crap. What's your impression on season 3 here?
I'm excited. I'm very excited. We'll have a lot of new wrestlers coming in, with now people being able to create too. I'm in the process of making my own second guy, but it's I have this idea.
Any sneak peeks? Any little tidbits of information, or are you just gonna kind of keep it under wraps?
I can tell you his name.
Oh, you heard it here first, folks. Crazy About the SWA limited information.
Exclusive leak about a new signing in the SWA.
Yes, that's right. We are all about exclusive leaks over here.
His name is drumroll, please.
Drum roll.
Adorable Hank.
Ooh, adorable Hank. Let's
Bitch, he's adorable.
Ooh, I'm excited now. This will be a lot of fun. But yeah, like,
yeah,
so
basically.
no,
Yeah, the idea here is Mercer is like this super serious character with a lot of dark backstory and a lot of emotion there,
right,
edge.
right.
So I just wanted to go the complete different direction with the other guy, and I think it'll be fun.
I
But yeah,
understand. I'm kind of doing that with my character, where Daniel Drake Thomas is kind of this like no nonsense, just he's in a little bit of an interesting situation right now, but his original character premise is like he's just like a spy who's good at using submission style moves, right? So something a little bit more brash and bold in Anthony Hager, I think is going to be a lot of fun to role play with. But you said, yeah, so a lot of new faces in the SWA. We mentioned, I mentioned my new character. You've got a new character coming. Who's someone that you have your eye on that you think like a new creation, maybe a second character or a second wrestler that's like this guy might be able to go the distance here and make an immediate impact in the SWA? Who you got your eyes on?
I am excited about Flint Buckshot. It's a new guy coming in, like C-Dots. I noticed he's a super heavyweight.
We didn't have too many super heavyweights. We have.
Yeah, like in the early days, the big guys were the shit, so to say.
Right.
With guys like Cervantes and Windham just dominating everything.
Of course.
But since then, it's kind of chilled down, so I'm excited to see a new super heavyweight. And I've seen a lot of C-Dots in the chat, so I think he could be pretty active, and let's hope it goes that way. And I am also extremely excited about Void.
Void, yes. Yes, it was recently revealed in Void's workout that he is very, very strong and maybe perhaps on the juice with a very good overall rating immediately out of the gate.
Yeah, and like some of the media that's been coming out with Void is already like some of the most fun, definitely the highest production value stuff. Like, it's true. I'm impressed. I think it could be very nice.
Yeah, like I thought I was doing a good job with some of Daniel Drake Thomas's like story arc type stuff, but man, I'm getting blown out of the water here on like wrestler promotion for sure. Someone I have my eye on, I'm looking at Czar, the new other super heavyweight from Painwrecker creator Pariah. I think it's the age of the super heavyweights, much to Nano's chagrin, probably. A lot of the new incoming talent, they're all big bodies, and they're all gonna be. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We'll see where this goes. So now that we've got kind of like some of the new people out of the way, what are we gonna expect from Mercer coming into season 3? Obviously, you're at the whim of the Overlord Mo here with the booking and all that, but like what's your direction? What do you think you're gonna kind of be focusing on for Mercer?
I mean, for like these last few weeks of season 2, actually already, Mercer's been kind of focusing on his singles action. So I expect that to continue, especially with him holding the Ascent belt for now, at least. As long as it's not taken away dramatically in classic 2K fashion.
I'm sure Void has something to say about that Ascent belt.
Oh god.
All of the new fresh talent are going to be gunning for you.
Everyone's after it. Yeah, everyone's after it. Definitely. So I expect a lot more singles action this season compared to the first two. But also some, like, as we've seen already, episode 35, upcoming match with Draven. So
Yeah,
Mercer will be
Deadfire.
teaming up with his tag mate.
Do you have any choice words for Bobby Plaster coming into season 35 or episode 35, season 3?
Bobby, Bobby, you're gonna get plastered. Like, don't show up, please.
So yeah,
I mean,
and
come on.
and what about like so we know Mercer's gonna kind of focus singles action, it sounds like. What about that tag partnership with Deadfire? Like, is that gonna kind of go by the wayside, or like obviously you have a match here in the next day, but like is that not gonna be a focus of yours, or are you gonna still stick with the Deadfire crew and see what comes from that?
I mean, we're still a crew, we're still teammates, but especially since Dead Piece has kind of not really been that active. The teams has struggled. I feel like for a while now, since Draven was usually just kind of doing his own thing and showing up occasionally for the
Right.
tag stuff. So it was kind of just Mercer and Dead Piece doing the work in the tag division, and Dead Piece kind of stopped updating like very early actually. So we're for now, I guess, more of a looser tag team. Like, we're still partners, we're a team, but we probably won't be competing for a belt anytime soon. At least that's what I'd venture. I don't know what's Mo's doing. Yeah.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Dead Piece, because Dead Piece also one of like the original, like March 17th, the red letter day in SWA history creations. And I feel like he didn't get a lot of play early on, you know, like he had a couple rough losses in singles action, didn't make it too far into the inaugural tournament, and then joined up on Deadfire, one of the original tag teams, like with Fierza Mayor and the Quinn brothers, rounding out the like original trio of tag team, official tag teams. Nothing like just couple people wrestling for fun in the tag division, but like actual tag teams is Deadfire, or Dead Piece, excuse me. It seems to like you said, has kind of fallen off. So it would be exciting to see him come back in a big way, put in the work in the gym, and then just kind of catapult Deadfire into the limelight once again. Because I don't think Deadfire is like a bad tag team by any stretch. I think all of the tag teams are at least competitive. If not,
I think our record was kind of like around that 50-50 mark, like from what I remember.
I
think
you're
middling.
Yeah, you're one off of 500, I think. But you've had a couple really big wins. You had the 2-night stand ladder match where Dead Piece actually got the briefcase for
definitely.
You guys. So
that was a match for sure.
That was a crazy match.
Oh man,
those big matches are always so fun.
Yeah, the game just dies. It's the best.
Not like the Rumbles though, where the game just craps out after like 20 entrants or whatever.
Yeah, that was sad. That was just sad.
That was a real bummer. I feel so bad for Al going all the way from number 2 or whatever it is just to get eliminated second to last after the Rumble, like shit the bed. That's a real shame. All right, so on the inaugural podcast, I kind of wanted to do a little bit more deep dive into like the backgrounds and storylines of wrestlers. And obviously, since I have you on as a guest, I did a little bit of a deep dive on Diego Mercer and his background. Yeah. And I was wondering if you could enlighten a couple things that I dug up, or maybe you could add stuff to what I have here, or what is readily available to the SWA Public in the Network section. Tell me about El Phoenix and the history there.
Yes, so El Phoenix was Mercer's lucha persona while he was still living in Mexico. So pretty much he was this balls to the walls super face. People loved him. He was just buck wild, doing wild shit. Almost getting himself killed night by night until he was unmasked. And in that turning point in his life, everybody turned on him. The people hated him. Nobody cared about him, and he was just pretty much out of the business in Mexico. So the SWA represents this new chance for him. He gets the call, moves to the USA, joins the SWA, and is just hell-bent on proving his worth, on earning the respect of everyone in the locker room and all the fans, and just not giving a damn about anyone.
And I'd say he's earned that respect because he comes in with a ring nickname in the Phoenix, right? That's kind of evocative of something rising from the ashes, something that was torn down, but then you build yourself back up, and now you're able to reach newer heights and newer levels. And I think we see that with Mercer's wrestling style, which might be a carryover from El Phoenix or the El Phoenix days, because we see him go for huge moves, all sorts of like high flying TM flippy shit, and also just his tenacious like stick-to-itiveness. I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think there is a person in the SWA that has kicked out of more like finishers or more just massive like damaging moves than Diego Mercer.
I was about to say, I have no idea how I did this, but somehow his build is just literally perfect for his character. Because ever since day one, since the first match of the inaugural tournament, he's just always been this kind of underdog who gets to come back. Because even on his first match against El Puma in the inaugural tournament, he was getting his face beat the fuck in.
Right.
He was doing nothing at all, and then he just does a comeback and wins it. And it's just been pretty much the way he ever wins matches. And I always joke that Mercer can't win a match unless he gets hits with the finisher on his face.
It seems accurate, because in the second match of the tournament, you faced Cervantes, and Cervantes was throwing Mercer all over the ring. And I think you kicked out of maybe 6 finishers. Like, and Cervantes is not a light opponent to take. Like,
definitely not.
Warren Wyndham in later episodes got pinned by Cervantes in like a minute and a half, and Mercer kicked out of 6 finishers in the inaugural tournament. So it's just like,
what I loved about that match was though he kept kicking out of those finishers, but they couldn't do anything about it. He was just like, "Aha! I kicked out. Oh, here's another one."
Yeah, here's another triple butterfly suplex finisher for your face, Diego Mercer. And like, I think I remember specifically in the Cervantes match, the ref like kept interrupting the match as well, because it was like he was checking on Mercer's well-being, because Cervantes was just like destroying him, but like the match
like,
still
how
kept
are
going.
you alive?
Right. But I think it's the Phoenix moniker is well earned at this point. There's definitely been at least a half dozen, if not more, matches where Diego Mercer is on the outs in the match, and then suddenly has this like flame energy or whatever take over him, and then he just goes crazy for a minute and a half, and sometimes wins the match with that energy, right? So yeah, Diego Mercer, the Phoenix. But let's skip forward a little bit, because I know I went through a lot of your network pieces, and it deals a lot with the past of Diego Mercer, obviously in Tijuana, Mexico, obviously the luchador family. He was representing his family. But I want to talk a little bit more about recent Diego Mercer exploits, because ever since Deadfire kind of burst onto the scene, there's been a little bit of a more media, I don't want to say lacking presence, but there's been a little bit of like a media blackout from Mercer's camp and like what he's all about. So I wanted to like pick your brain, see where Mercer's at, and see kind of in the more recent season 2 matches of SWA, like what Mercer was kind of going through, because there was a lot of, just digging through, there was a lot of like personal battles that he had to fight with, overcoming the unmasking, and then overcoming, obviously, I guess maybe even like the betrayal of a lot of his fans and his family in kind of sending him away and ostracizing him. Like I wanted, and ever since those battles, he seemed to get over it, or maybe use that passion to channel it into becoming greater in the SWA. I wanted to pick your brain on like what Mercer is doing in recent times here.
You know, at the start of the SWA, Mercer kind of still didn't believe in himself. So when he met Eric Draven in that piece, he met those souls that he felt were similar to him, and he felt like he found friends that he lacked severely. So at the start, he was very focused about Deadfire, about doing this as a team, about bringing the heat and those things that are dead not being able to die again. But at a certain point, I guess he was disappointed with how this approach worked. Deadfire had their chances. They had the title match against the Quins. They failed miserably.
The Quins were historically very good, though.
Definitely very good, but Mercer needed a win. Like, he needed a big win, and he kind of felt at that point that maybe this is something he needs to do alone. So he just kind of channeled all that anger, all that hate he had for everything around him, and just focused on his work ethic. He was just wouldn't get out of the gym. And well, he just focused on winning.
There you
go.
And
that night, that first attempt, the original Ascent Championship match, the elimination, you could see it in him. He kept getting pounded as per usual, but persevered. He eliminated 2 people.
Very good. Yes.
And then he was then he was left against his final opponent, the brain dead idiot known as Starman, who kept on falling on his face. And he was like, "This isn't an opponent. I can take him. I'm like, my liver is kind of dead from all those punches. I think something broke in his back." But he was very sure of himself at that point, and let's just say he was very angry.
Understandable.
He was very angry when he got pinned by Starman, of all people.
Right.
And then he was just all that focus he had going on his work ethic and on winning. In an instant, he turned it on the focus to just take revenge on this goddamn idiot known as Starman. But he was offered a chance for something greater, a chance at the Golden Trial, for a chance to go for the championship.
Right.
So he kind of tried to focus on that, but Starman was always in the back of his mind, playing mind games.
Mm-hmm. As Starman.
So despite as Starman does.
as Starman does, he plays mind tricks on you. I'm pretty sure
he's devious.
Yes, it's he dives off the top rope onto the apron to like handicap himself, right? Just like play mind games.
He does it to mess with you,
That's right.
So you don't know what to expect. Will he jump at me or will he jump at the floor?
You can't guess his strategy because he doesn't know what he's doing either.
So Mercer did pretty well at the trial until he ran into Wyndham.
Right.
And I'd like to say he still gave him a good run at it. It was a good match, but part of Mercer was definitely he knew he didn't deserve the shot at the championship yet, and he was happy to get back to busting Starman's face in. So you can imagine on a 2-night stand 9-1, the 2 out of 3 falls match for the Ascent Championship. When it began with Mercer taking the first fall, he kind of had an impending sense of deja vu from the original Ascent Championship match, and he just noped the fuck out of that situation and decided this is ending right now.
Right.
And he did very quickly.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that because, like you said, Diego Mercer kind of had this middling showing for most of season 2, where he would have one really big match and get up towards earning a shot at like a really nice opportunity for a belt or for something, and then just kind of maybe not roll over, but like just not quite get there. Obviously, losing the original Ascent champion to Starman was a big blow to
was
Mercer.
A blow, definitely.
But in 2-night stand, Mercer had a huge push. Like took down in the match, the first match, in the 2 or 3 falls match, come from behind victory. Because that's always hype, right? Like you're down 1 pin already. It only takes 1 more pin. But then Mercer comes out on top with two, I believe, pretty quick pins on your opponent. And then in night 2, defending your newly earned Ascent Championship from Bobby Plaster, who had won, I believe, it was like a 4-man. It was a ladders match for a shot at the Ascent Champion, which was obviously at that point Diego Mercer. So 2-night stand must have been very validating for Diego Mercer.
Yes, definitely. I feel like a certain arc in his career has leveled out now. He's gotten back on his feet. He's earned that respect that he wanted so desperately. Now he's earned the confidence back that he lost way back when. And 2-night stand was definitely the time when that finally happened, when he was validated and he started to feel good about himself again.
Right.
So let's hope he can carry it on towards season 3, and then not just end it very sadly, very quickly.
But, that might provide more fuel for Mercer, right? Obviously, the Phoenix rises from the ashes. Mercer is sitting at the pinnacle of one of the we have 3 belts in the SWA, and Mercer holds one of them right now. So it could be argued, I don't think this is true. I think any belt is worth its medal. Like, you have to earn those belts. It isn't easy mode to get the Ascent Champion belt. It's hard work, and I don't think it's any more difficult or any easier to get the SWA Championship belt from that position. So I think it's well earned for Diego Mercer to be the Ascent Champion right now.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. He went through a lot of shit, and he's been very solid overall as a singles wrestler. I'm looking at power rankings right now. I think he's standing at 8-3. That's
That's
I'd say that's
very
a very
good.
good. That's a very good record.
That is a very good record, as it turns out.
So now's his time to keep up the good work. Maybe put some respect on the Ascent Championship because it's being held by Starman. So nothing surprising. People didn't really respect it. Now,
Right.
proper wrestler is holding the belt. You can put some respect on it. That's gonna be his goal for now.
Are we gonna see more beef between Mercer and Starman in season 3?
I mean, definitely. Like if you give Mercer a chance to beat up on Starman, he's gonna do it.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Starman on his way out of the SWA. Mercer has got his number.
Just watch out, Starman.
Watch out, Starman. Indeed. Well, let's switch gears back to Deadfire. We talked earlier about how Deadfire was one of the original kind of tag teams with the Quinn brothers and Fuerza Mayor. One of those tag teams, unfortunately, no longer together, or maybe fortunately, depending on who you ask. But obviously, Fuerza Mayor imploded once Puma and Cervantes went at it, and they had their unmasking match. And I don't think we ever saw the official unmasking of Cervantes. So who knows?
I think the SWA team wanted to spare him the humiliation.
Spare him because obviously Diego Mercer knows quite a bit about that humiliation to become unmasked.
Knows firsthand.
But so what's the? I mean, I guess we also kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but what's like the secret to the longevity, right? Obviously, Draven and Dead Piece, some of the oldest wrestlers in the biz, or in the Federation. Like, what keeps the Deadfire team together?
I think, well, first off, we're friends. So, like, outside of the game, going out of the little bubble, or at least, like, we just like playing together, and we like seeing our guys do well. But also, like, I really think our gimmicks just really fit. Because Mercer, obviously the Phoenix, rising up from the ashes and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Draven has always had this resiliency persona as well, of just being, the unkillable. Like ever since the early days, I believe, has been building this guy to just, do all the reversers and take all the hits.
Right.
And like we also, like looks wise, we all fit together well. And it was just a nice idea for a tag team, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And we've also always given us space to do our own stuff in the singles matches.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we just never felt confined by the tag team, I guess. So like, why blow it up? Shit, it's fun.
That's right. All right. Well, here's a question from a worried fan.
Okay.
Deadfire's entrance is one of the longest in the SWA.
Yes, it's very long.
Is there any chance or rumor mill on changing the entrance to Deadfire's tag team?
You know what? If I see 5 comments under Crazy About the SWA Episode 2 saying, Mr. Mercer, please change the entrance, we're changing it.
Or that could be a bait because you could change it to a longer one, right? Just to mess with people.
Shush. Don't tell them.
Don't tell them. All right. Well, that's a nice segue because I do have several more questions from the fans here. So let's kind of, I guess, start the Q&A session. This could either be to Tomat0 or to Mercer, and I guess we can have you answer either way. So on top of that question, I have a few more questions. This one coming in from the SWA Commissioner Mo. Congratulations on securing the Ascent Championship. What does the future of Deadfire look like now that you are a singles champion?
Well, I'll answer this. Tomat0 in the name of my client.
Right.
But Deadfire is still going. The team is still together, like as you probably well know, on the episode 35. Draven and Mercer will be teaming up to beat up on Bobby Plaster. So like, don't worry about Deadfire. You probably won't see the guys trying to go for the tag team championship anytime soon. Since both Draven and Mercer have been kind of focusing on singles action, but who knows what lies in the future, you know?
Next question, we have we've seen Mercer go for some high-risk moves, such as the Coast to Coast. What makes Mercer decide to go for something big like that, and are you concerned for his safety?
You know, as his agent, I'm definitely very concerned every time he does something like that, but, you know, it's what makes him him. He wouldn't be Mercer if he wasn't trying to kill himself along with his opponent every single night. But also, you know, the moves work. He's a trained professional, he knows what he's doing, and it usually works out for him. But yeah, I'm definitely worried that one day they put him in like a Hell in a Cell and he kills himself jumping off of it. But you know, here's hoping they don't book it.
You heard it here first. Mercer for Hell in a Cell, Season 3. Question 3. Would Mercer give up the Ascent Championship belt for a chance at the World Championship belt?
This is a tough question. I don't think Mercer believes himself ready for the World Championship just yet. From what I know about him, he wants to put some respect on the Ascent Champion first, because for now many people kind of talk down about the Ascension belt, you know. Mm-hmm. About it being second grade or something, you know, lesser.
The junior belt, right?
The junior belt, yeah. And Diego definitely wants to, you know, change this mindset to you know, make it proper belt, proper championship. So I think, you know, maybe if he shows up some later tonight, he might tell you something more about it. But if he holds it for a while, give or take a few weeks, I'm sure if he got a real shot at the World Championship, he wouldn't hesitate to put down the Ascent belt. But just not yet.
Here's a question from me. And this one's more about Deadfire than Mercer, I guess. But if you had to add someone to Deadfire, anyone on the roster, say, even if they're in a tag team already, like if you had to add someone to Deadfire, who would it be and why?
Oh, that's a tough question. My first thought is Deadfire lacks just like a big body. You know, I think someone like Dr. Morbius would be a good fit for Deadfire. He's not the biggest of guys, but he kind of fits that light heavyweight bill.
Right.
And Deadfire has always had issues with big guys. Since I think Draven is the biggest of us, and he ain't even that big. Right. Let me check. How heavy is?
I believe Draven is a light heavyweight.
He's cruiserweight, actually.
So we're all like. So you're all small bodies.
Yep. That piece is technically a light heavyweight, but he's 5'11" and weighs 210 pounds. So like, I wouldn't really say that he's that much of a light heavyweight,
Right.
especially since he's a technical wrestler.
He's a similar build to Daniel Jake Thomas, I remember. Very
Yes,
similar weight
yes.
and height, and even a little bit of wrestling style. And Daniel Jake Thomas is not a big guy.
He's not a big guy, but he's quick to submit.
He sure is.
Yeah, like I think Dr. Morbius would be a good fit, or even someone like Cervantes if he showed up.
If he was still around.
Yeah.
I can see that. I see the Dr. Morbius pick because Dr. Morbius also has that kind of on-brand, tenacious style wrestling where he takes an absolute pounding, but then still comes out on top somehow. So it would definitely fit on two sides of the branding, which is dresses in all black and has kind of a grim theming, but then also has this kind of tenaciousness that I think is famous from Deadfire that we don't really see from any of the other tag partnerships in the SWA. I guess. All right. So here's the follow-up question. Now that you've added Dr. Morbius, who are you kicking out of Deadfire?
I mean, Dead Piece. No, nothing against him, but he's just not active. He's not hitting the gym. He's not working out. He's barely been showing up in the shows. It's just hard.
Yeah, I know. Like, I wish the best for the guy. We should.
I definitely do too, especially with now the bump. So maybe he comes back. We'll see.
And Deadfire makes a big old push. Because you know what they say, 3 wrestlers is better than 2. Am I right? Alright, here's a question for you. If Mercer went through a gimmick change, obviously the history with El Phoenix and everything would still last, but if Mercer, the Phoenix, evolved into something different, like what would the direction be?
That's a tough one. I've never thought about it, to be completely honest, because I like the gimmick so much and it works so well.
Right. Would Mercer go back to being a masked wrestler? Maybe that's a little.
I don't think he would.
He wouldn't.
I don't think he would. No. Once he's lost the mask, there's like no reason for him to go back to wearing it. Like he wouldn't feel it right.
Right.
But maybe he takes off the paint. Goes for a cleaner look.
Clean shaven.
Kind of tries to set the record straight.
Interesting things to think about.
Yeah. But I don't know anymore, honestly. I'd have to think about it very hard. It's a tough question you sprang on me. But yeah, I think if he were to change, I think he'd probably take off the face paint and kind of just be himself and get rid of the crutch. That's this persona of this creature that he is. That could be an interesting thing.
It could be. Down to earth Mercer. The Phoenix has fallen.
Oh, yeah.
DTE Mercer.
DTM.
Yeah, DTM. Down to Mercer. Oh, and it looks like someone is in the call.
Someone's joined the call right now. Welcome. My name is Diego Mercer. And I have recently claimed the Ascent Championship belt. Now I know that due to the previous holders' less than stellar reputation, many consider this belt to be worthless or somehow lesser than other belts in this organization. Well, I'm about to prove you wrong. I'm about to show you what an Ascent Championship is. Because what I am is the goal. For every single one of you new bloody faces hoping to make an entrance into this world. And I will show you that you are not ready. None of you are. You are welcome to try and take it from me and prove your worth, as I've proven mine. But it will not work out. You will fall, time and time again, until you realize that you are doomed.
Well, I guess that was Diego Mercer.
I wasn't informed that my client was going to show up.
I mean, honestly, neither was I. I'm kind of surprised by the whole ordeal.
How did he get in?
I mean,
my God.
I guess my security measures on the podcast aren't as high as I thought they were.
You really need to work on that.
I do. It's true. Maybe I need to contact someone who's an expert in security on podcast safety. But you heard it here first, folks. Diego Mercer putting out the call to all the new faces to put some respect on his name and put some respect on the Ascent belt.
So yeah, everyone's welcome to challenge, and we'll see how you guys do.
And I'm sure Mo is excited by the prospect of an active pool of competitors for that Ascent Championship belt.
Yeah, definitely a lot of new blood coming in, a lot of people willing to go for that. Okay.
Well, Tomat0.
Thanks for... Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about? You just kind of want to riff, or?
I think we kind of just ran out of stuff to talk about.
Fair enough.
A bit, yeah. Thanks for having me here, and it was a lot of fun.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
it's
excited to see future episodes as well.
Oh well, I appreciate it. I'm looking to keep this going. So I'm hoping it gets some traction. I saw it gives me a lot of encouragement when my video, the top 10 SWA matches, had more views than the season 3 announcement a couple days back on the network. And so I'm just like, yes, I'm beating Mo and he runs the league. So I'm gonna try to keep this up. I am gonna keep this up is what I should say, but maybe not a guest every week, but I'm glad to have you back on, Tomat0. We can talk about some other stuff sometime if you'd like in the future. Maybe once Mercer goes for that championship push, we'll get back in touch.
Yeah, for sure. I'd be happy to come back here.
Well, once again, thanks to Tomat0, our special guest, and surprise promo from Diego Mercer himself towards the end there. And I'd like to thank once again everyone for listening to the end here. Please feel free to tell us if this sucks or if it's really good, and if you have any suggestions. And yeah, this is Crazy About the SWA. Tomat0, send him home.
Thanks for listening, guys. See you next time, and leave a heart on the post.
Appreciate it, Tomat0.